That La Ferrari will be a classic one day, if not already. Oh, I think it already is. It was a classic when they announced it. Yeah. Did you know New Zealand once actually designed and built a car? No. You didn't know that? Well, you know, we used to manufacture all sorts of cars. No. But design and build a car. You know what it was called? No. The Trekka, and it was a beast. Yeah, it was. I think so. It was. I'm sure it wasn't. It was. Okay.
This is the Trekka, and its claim to fame is it's the only motor vehicle that was designed and then mass-produced in New Zealand, and 2,500 built over about 6 years. From the end of 1966 through to it kind of faded out 1971, 1972. There were two parts of it. The mechanicals all came from what was then communist Czechoslovakia. New Zealand's contribution was to design and build the body that was bolted onto the chassis. Surprisingly, most of the mechanical parts you still can buy new from the Czech Republic. The most unique thing about the Trekka is its place in New Zealand history. It's not a great motor vehicle to drive. It's a sort of an awkward 1950s thing. I find it a little bit terrifying, but it represents a time of New Zealand's economy and industry when the country was so protected from imports that we could successfully produce our own motor vehicles. There were about 50 who went to Australia at what was hoped to be the start of a grand deal, but kind of fizzled out. The most ambitious one was a plan to ship hundreds of them to Indonesia in knockdown form, and they'd get rebuilt in Indonesia. And they did send off one shipment of 100. The money was a bit hard to get, and then things kind of fell apart from there. So ambitions that never quite happened. The Trekka story is important to me because it is a representation of that New Zealand of the 1970s. Nowadays we can buy whatever car we want at pretty good prices. In the 1970s you had to queue up, and actually buying a new car was not that easy. This is kind of as much of a celebration as we get for the 50th anniversary. The day, the 2nd of December, passed, you know, unmarked. But this is one of the more interesting gatherings of the vehicle. There's not that many left, and to get 4.5 of them in one spot, quite an achievement.
Wow. Yep. Wow. I think if only I'd known. Well, I think you. If only New Zealand had known. I think you could have done something with the Trekka. But let's talk about New Zealand. I got a high performance version. The Greg Murphy edition Trekka. That would have been huge. No, it wouldn't. Let's move on to news.